The 72 Entertainment Group Podcast Network presents.
Look what we have here.
Oh, man.
Back to the lecture at hand.
We are finally back doing
Lord.
the always something in the... Oh, God. That's,
Oh, my God.
We gotta shake
Always
the rust
something
off.
in the podcast.
Always something into something.
Always. All right. We are
I want to
back.
pre-record. Oh,
Welcome to the Always Into Something podcast. I am MMB here in beautiful Henderson, Nevada, in the Leo Pope Studios.
opulent.
Yes, the very opulent. It was clean recently. It looks gorgeous in here. And it is amazing. So I am back. We got the full squad. We're all back. We are here to do it. And we got Ahmad the God.
Yo, what's happening? Thank y'all for coming back, tuning in. I'm coming from Inglewood, California. Hey, it feels good to be back, hearing all these voices. Hey, I appreciate y'all.
And then
Right on, man. Right on.
And then we got M Parks.
What up, dog? Coming to you live from my apartment in the garage. It's chilly out, Midwestern, 45 degrees. We're going to make it happen tonight, though. Thank you for joining us.
And last but not least, you just heard him. We got the one, the only, No Shame.
No shame in the house. Still here, still breathing. Trying to enjoy this life before God take me away. Get busy with it. Always shameless, baby. That disciple. Boom.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
All right, man. Then go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Oh, man.
I don't know if my brother was reading his own obituary or what. Jeez.
Man, oh man, you kind of messed us up with that one, bro.
Oh, man.
You kind of messed us up with that one.
Grip you up with some
Oh,
pre-written.
Come on, baby.
No, I'm just still in it to win it, kicking Corona's ass. Boom. How you
There
like
we
that?
go. Okay.
Kicking ass,
Okay.
taking names.
Yeah, you came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and you're all out of bubble gum. There you go.
Taking names.
All right, so let's just jump into this because there was some controversy from the last show we did, based off me being inebriated, and we. I just want to recap. Now, I did not go back and listen when I was editing the show. I heard some of it, and it was pretty bad. But it's not as bad as I thought. So that was cool. But the aftermath was atrocious. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But what I remember from the last thing that we did, and it's something that we can kind of touch on right here, then we'll talk about it a little bit more later on, is that it was a big controversy because we had the top 5 in our hip-hop, top 4 in our hip-hop selection. We each picked, and the number 1 pick was Redman. Yeah, the drum roll for Redman. And I'm not a hater.
Hey, man, you got to say it like you mean it.
I mean, I kind of went in. I can remember that. And, all due respect to Redman, he is a tremendous artist.
Hey, man, we don't be speaking for Redman. We the haters out there. It's okay. We forgive you, dog.
So
It's
yeah.
okay.
You forgive Redman or you forgive the haters?
Nah, I forgive the hate.
Or the one who picked him?
No, I know who picked him. I did. I knew exactly what I was doing. Sober-minded pick.
Okay, so all right, so let me just bring this back. I know that was the last thing that you guys heard, so let's just start it off with this. I'm gonna bring it to who picked who, so we can just kind of go over this a little bit. I don't want to make this all about hip hop or whatever, but we're gonna do this part first. So, No Shame went with he was the number one pick, and he went with Redman. Then he came back with Scarface, Ghostface Killer, and Black Thought from The Roots. Okay. Parks went in with Tupac, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and T.I. Okay.
With the hat tilted.
Okay.
Tilted hat T.I.
And I went in with Biggie, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and
Allegedly.
and Nipsey.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahmad to God came with Nas, Andre 3000, E40, and Fabulous. Oh, man.
Hey, come on, man. What's up?
Oh,
So if we were shooting
going
free
on?
throws, who has the best percentage?
oh.
All of us got a good percentage.
Well, all of them was argumentative. Like
Yeah. See,
they all argumentative.
See, this,
My mama think I'm handsome.
the perspective is the perspective I'm in is that everybody's always going to be like your Tupacs and Jay-Z and stuff. Is more of a
Not everybody, just me. But everyone had the opportunity.
yeah, but like that's everybody.
I didn't have that
I'm trying to pick a squad. If they had to battle for their lives, I'm gonna pick them to spit them bars. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, and these artists, I have heard some really good stuff from all these artists, and there's not a lot of misses. I'm not a big East Coast fan, even though I went with Biggie first but Biggie, his style, I think it was kind of a blend. It really, to me, had that. He had some of that West Coast vibe, and some of the West Coast vibe with him, even though he was strictly Brooklyn, and I know it was that the way the West Coast East Coast beef, but we were still banging it over in the West Coast. But Fabulous, I just know like 2 songs, to be honest, and Jay-Z.
That's because you listen to them streaming. That's because you listen to them popular streaming services where you cannot find most of his music. It's not going to be found on them popular streaming services.
See, I didn't know that. I just know.
Is that the streaming service's fault or his fault?
I mean, it's
everybody who made it through customs is there. You looking on the other side like I should be there.
I mean, I don't know about all the I don't know about the technicalities behind it, but
it's the algorithm's fault.
Hey, look, we're not about to get into all that. All I know is he put out some good music. I don't know. I don't give a damn where he put it, but he put it out there in the world. It didn't fall into them popular streaming services like, Apple Music or, all the Pandoras and all them streaming services. It didn't fall on those, radars, but it's out there and I've been listening to it for years.
But that's what I'm saying though. This is before the streaming services became so prevalent and he was out way before that. We're talking about late 90s, 2000s. He was out and
but that ain't his best work. That's like,
I mean, okay. So we got "Breathe," which I like. That's a good song. We got.
I wouldn't even bring that up. Like he got some way better shit than that.
You got "I Can't Deny It," which was a cool track. And then
you talking about albums that went main. You talking about the stuff you can find on streaming services.
And then you got like "Throw It in the Bag."
Oh my god!
And then the Tamia remake. I'm so into you.
Oh my god! Yeah, you name me all the ones that I wish people could forget.
Okay. I'm not trying to tear anybody's list apart. There's going to be a time and a place for that. I'm just, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll all get a chance to kind of just rip because I know. Yeah. I got some questionable selections here, but I'm blaming the bourbon for that.
I was last, so y'all got to give me some slack.
Dog, I think your pick is very adequate.
Yeah, I feel like my pick is cool, you know, but especially given the fact that I was last and Parks got a lot of good ones.
Oh yeah, you was in this clearance rack.
You ain't never lied. I was in Ross. I was in the back of Ross, bro.
You was in the
you know what I'm saying? I'm in the back of Ross. Like I had to do what I had to do.
You got your stuff from the Salvation Army with clear.
My goodness, you know.
It's pretty bad. I mean, it's like I said, this is going to be a very interesting battle because
really, nigga.
You look at it.
The
fuck, man! No, Shame is tripping on this. I'm tripping off myself, man. Don't worry about me. Go ahead.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how this, because we're still working on the plan after all that, the hiatus and everything, still trying to figure out how we're going to determine who goes against who and all that stuff and how we're going to pick actual winners in this tournament. But I just wanted to go over the picks again and the ridiculousness of them. So, with that being said, what was it? What was it, Parks? Back to the lecture.
The lecture at hand.
There you go. The lecture at hand. So, we have the bubble still going on. Have you guys? I know the game 2 of the Western Conference Finals just ended with a buzzer beater from my Lakers. So shout out to the Lakers and
AD.
Yeah, hitting that 3 at the end, that was nice. It was nervous for a minute. This Nuggets team is good, but I don't want to just talk about sports. But I just as far as have you guys been watching football since COVID?
Yep.
I watched maybe 1/4 of a game. I don't know. I'm still up in the air about how I feel about not having fans in these stadiums and in these arenas. It's just I could take it or leave it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I want to kind of get back to some normalcy and just let's watch football. It's Sunday, blah blah blah. It was just I woke up this morning and was nah, I don't feel like watching football. And
they had some fans test positive.
See,
they had some fans test positive, and they kept a record of those particular fans. And they went out. They did a radius of 10 fans, and they contacted all 10 of those fans and told them that they were in close contact with 2 people that tested positive, and they told them they all should quarantine. I think that was at I want to say Kansas City's last game. I'm not sure.
Because I know there are a couple stadiums that are allowing people to be in. I know Jacksonville because Florida is letting them people do whatever they want anyway. But Jacksonville is letting people have fans. I know they're still social distancing. I'm not they're not at full capacity. I think like you said, Kansas City, and I think it was one other or a couple other places that were allowing actual fans to be in the stadium. But yeah, it's the same product, I was lukewarm to watching basketball, and I ended up watching that more than anything else, and because I think the way that the production of it, they have the virtual fans in the back. They pump in the crowd noise at the appropriate time. You still have the music, and you still have that energy that you kind of get wrapped up in, especially if it's a good game, and I don't feel that with football. And I maybe it was just that one. I mean, like I said, it was a small sample size, but I'm not excited about this, and I still don't. I still think that they should not have played because of, there's a lot of people on the teams, and if one person tests positive on a team that has been playing, then that shuts down that team and the other team that they were playing against. And that's not cool. So, and how are you gonna work around that? And it's already a physically demanding game, and then you put in something where it's this virus can infect your immune system and cause all kind of long lasting problems that are not easily I was about to say vanquished, but not easily cured. But I know what they're doing it for. It's for the money. You got to have your advertising and stuff like that. But I think the couple of those schools the college football defenders did right by their student athletes by choosing not to play this season, which I think would have been better. This 2020 has just been just the worst in so many things. Not to say that there aren't any positives, because there are some positives, but it's been like really bad. And this is just like, just want to get this over and done with. I can't wait. I just cannot wait. So I mean, what do you guys think about football right now? Have you watched any? I mean, what do you think about the fans, if you did? And if you're not watching it, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like they could have did a better job as far as like giving the viewers a fan-filled experience like the NBA did, as far as, technical, whatever they could come up with, like the NBA did a good job, as far as making us feel like it's a fan-filled game, other than feeling like we're watching, two people play a video game playing golf on Nintendo Wii. It's boring as hell. Like, the baseball games are like already like hard to watch with fans. So without fans or the noise or the virtual outlet, well, the baseball have a little something, but yeah, it's tough.
I forgot all about baseball, and
but the Dodgers, I've been watching the Dodgers. They've been doing pretty good. They're like 5-0 right now, I think. Yeah. So, I've been watching a little bit of baseball. It's just hard to watch, man, because the fans, it's just the energy that they bring to the game. It's that energy and it's that excitement. And it just feels like, it's just like you're performing an act for no one. It's like you're on stage and no one's in the audience and you're performing this act. It's hard to like get into it individually sitting at home. So I think it definitely affects the excitement. Yeah. And I think it takes away a little bit from it, but I feel like people are glad to have it anyway, because we've been so long without anything on TV as far as sports. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people are appreciative of it, but obviously it's not the same. It would be great. It would be so great once things, like you said, get back to normal and people can actually go and enjoy a game, without having to worry about potentially losing their damn life.
Exactly. No shame. What you think about that?
I totally agree. I haven't actually watched any sports. It's just, man, I got to be a teacher aide and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And by the time I look up, man, I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
So that I ain't touch it. I mean, it's cool, that they playing to give some entertainment to take people's mind off of, like you said, just like 2020 just been, 2020, good God. But it's just better with people, just people around, like the rivalry and stuff is just all that stuff, like, is part of sports. The other side yelling at the other side, who trying to yell the loudest to get their team pumped up, is all that. People like, hey, get the dude to get the popcorn. All that, the concession stands, everything, man.
Mascots,
the high ass parking, the shoulder to shoulder with people you don't know. And it's,
Yeah.
it's all that, man. But it's missing. It's missing those elements. So it's just
Yeah.
for me, it's just not the same, man.
I mean, after a big play, high-fiving a dude that you never met before, never seen in your life.
Exactly.
And you guys like, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's it's going to be a long time before we can even get back to that. But what about you, Parks? What do you think about it?
I wasn't watching it. My local team, the Detroit Lions, haven't been worth watching since Barry retired, so I let that go years ago. I'll watch it from time to time, and then when Kaepernick took his knee and he wasn't invited back, I really stopped watching it. Plus, the way my cable is set up, I'm not paying to be a fan to watch it. So this AM, FM, UHF, VHF television that I have over here with the antenna, you give me some games on Sunday, but I'll look at clips online or maybe listen to some of the national talk shows about it. I think the biggest thing for me that deterred me from having much interest in it was when Kansas City and Houston were having their moment of silence for unity and all of that stuff, and fans were booing. And so when you don't have anyone protesting, taking a knee down, but saying, we're getting together as a team to promote unity amongst Americans, and that gets booed. I understand there are people who are going to do things like that, but it just kind of let me know that as much as they want to have change, nothing has really changed in that arena for me. So I'm not interested in being a fan. I'm probably less than casual, but I'll listen to it and maybe be aware of what's going on just off of a Shannon Sharp's takes or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I feel you.
I definitely I feel you on that one. And back to like the protesting and stuff like that, because there was a big thing that happened. I'm pretty sure I don't think we discussed it when the Milwaukee Bucks decided not to play. And they almost canceled the remaining of the playoffs because of what happened in was it Minneapolis? And that, it was just like, it's like one of those things where you still they wanted to bring, when they were talking about bringing sports back, they wanted to do things, and they are doing things where, talking about the players can wear stuff on the back, the Black Lives Matter or vote or whatever you wanted to put. I thought it was cool, but was it really enough? And stuff that is still going on, and
right,
it's still. And people are still protesting it, and again, I'm not trying to get super political or anything like that, because that's just not. I'm kind of, to be honest, just disgusted with politics as it is right now, and it's just when you have a lot of people that feel like they're not being heard and they're being disenfranchised and things like that, there are going to be repercussions, and there are going to be people that are going to lash out. And things are kind of, it seems like they're settling down for the most part, but should it be settling down? Because we still need to kind of address some bigger issues. And I know that kind of just veered way from what I was talking about in sports, but I think that playing the sports brings back the entertainment. It brings the distractions. And you can focus on more things than at once, and I understand that. But I do think when you take away things to prove a point, it's justified. What happened when you got in trouble. You got a bad report card oh, well, you can't play on your your games, your PlayStation or your Nintendo or whatever you had. You can't do that for the weekend, or you can't go out with your friends. You're on punishment.
All right.
And I think that we, as a country, I'm not saying we should be on punishment. That's ridiculous, but needed to really just address these kind of things that are going on, and really focus on that. And we didn't need any distractions. We didn't really need to figure out innovative ways to play basketball and football and baseball and hockey. We need to figure out innovative ways to be a better country. And that's something that is severely lacking because, a lot of people just put their hands up and like, yeah, whatever, and don't really want to cause any ripples. And it's okay. It's okay, but then again, at the same time, it's not. So, anyway, that was just my diatribe.
Did you guys happen to see? Did you guys happen to catch the UFC fight the other night? Kobe Covington beat up on that one guy, and at his post-fight interview, he made a comment about LeBron James, talking about how spineless he is, and because of his views, and he let the world know that his particular views were like Blue Lives Matter, and that he was like siding with the police, but he like made it a point to speak on that, which was kind of weird. Because UFC and NBA is just two opposites. I don't even know why he brought that up, but he's an American boxer. He had a fight against that one guy, I forget his name, Tyrone, I think last night or the night before last, and he just made this comment, which was like uncalled for. So, to piggyback off of what, Parks was saying, as far as like them booing us, them booing the game where they, held hands. It's just like, that reminder. It's like, things haven't really changed that much.
No.
Things haven't really changed that much. There's a lot of stuff that's been done, and everything that's been done, we didn't ask for any of it. And what we were actually asking for, which is justice, hasn't been done at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Breonna Taylor, I know her family did get a monetary award recently, and they did win a civil case or something like that. But at the end of the day, those cops still have their jobs. They're still free.
I look at it like you don't take the common man who may have had flaws in his past serious when it comes to the injustice that's going on. You appreciate the athletes for their ability, but you don't take them serious for their intellect because they make a tremendous amount of money, so you feel as though they shouldn't be complaining at all. So when I look at folks like the four of us, it would be very unfortunate if something happened to us, but maybe we would be the folks who could maybe turn the tides even more. I was watching where a guy had just had a baby 2 days ago, and he fit the description while jogging, and he was in cuffs, and the whole ordeal took about 15 minutes. And to see him on Facebook Live saying, if something happened to me, y'all better raise hell, in so many words, because he was former military. And he was part of the police in the military, and got out and was working in the health industry. And so the resolution that they had was to offer him a job, and he declined, but he's going to do training for them. And so I don't know, athletes have a bigger platform to put what they want to say out there. They have followers, et cetera, et cetera. But if you can go into the closet of any person and say, well, he did this or he did that or whatever, and it may be true, and maybe they've served their time and got out and are trying to do better in the community, but any skeleton that you have in your closet can be utilized to completely just disconnect people from the experience that you went through. And so, I don't have a criminal record, but I don't want to die either to make sure that this mug gets taken over the top rope as if it was some sort of lumberjack match or something like that. It just becomes tough because even as positive individuals like us, our words don't have the value. And we have gone through numerous experiences where, okay, maybe you don't believe them, But you should believe me, and that often gets overlooked, or it doesn't get the amount of attention that it deserves, because it takes a lot to walk that straight and narrow as best you can and be a positive role model for other people in this world.
Yeah,
I could dig it, man.
yeah. I mean, and when you're an athlete, I always think about what Charles Barkley said, I'm not a role model, but you are marketed as, not always marketed as such, but you're marketed to people and put out there. When you're at the top of your game, you're gonna get those endorsement deals. You're gonna get that that attention, and what you say, especially in today's society, what you say holds a lot of weight because they view you as successful, and they think that people can affect change by just saying something on social media, which some people can and some people can't. But it does take more than just one person saying, "Hey, I believe this and this, and we should do this," and everybody follows suit. It doesn't work that way. You can plant the seed, and plus, that person, when you have those endorsements and stuff like that, those endorsements might dry up if you say something too controversial for them. Like we gotta back off, so we're gonna pull this deal. And then now,
you see what just happened with the guy in China.
Oh, who was just talking about Ty Law?
I forget, but he said Chinese women have cakes and they banned him for life.
Yeah, you can't discuss the physical attributes of them at all, and then also post a picture of you in a
strip club.
Adult performing arts environment.
Right.
Lemon Pepper Lou. Hey.
Right, that is true. And China does not have freedom of speech rights over there.
It is communist, yes.
Yeah, and neither does I don't think Canada has it either.
So you can't go to a foreign country and treat it like you're at home.
Exactly.
And then the other part about that is, if you're having that experience, why are you telling everybody? I mean, is that going to get you back into the NBA? And I know he was playing, but certain things, enjoy that experience if it's enjoyable. You keep that to yourself or share that with your friends. That's not something that you should be publicly displaying on social media.
Exactly.
In my opinion. But again, I don't live that lifestyle. And so what comes with that lifestyle provides a level of freedom and opportunity to do certain things that maybe a traditional person like me hasn't been accustomed to living and doesn't participate in. So when you even look at what happened in the bubble, where the COVID lady gives a man a test in his room and potentially, could infect him with COVID or what have you. Folks are like, well, why are they doing it? Because this is the environment that they come from. You might have your lady at home and a chick on the road, or find somebody in when you go on the road. This bubble has potentially limited them from doing the things that they do to get ready for their sport, so to speak. And there's probably only so many front desk maids. I mean, they have folks who are doing their hair that might be females as well. But if you are accustomed to certain pre-game or post-game rituals that don't happen because you're in this bubble, it's tough. You see guys trying to sneak folks in and all of that. I guess I could say, in the words of Corey Holcomb, the streets are undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
I think for you got to realize, a lot of these NBA guys, or these guys are playing in China, these guys are still in their early 20s, and this lifestyle that they live in is amazing to them, and it's new to them. So when you add that in with money and social media, And it's, stuff that a mature man would say, hey, why can't you keep that to yourself? You're talking to a youngster, so he going to put that online and he want everybody to see it, just like LeBron James' son online smoking a blunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was the purpose behind you sharing that? It's just you're talking about someone with a young mind.
Yeah. And, wanting to share your life with everything, or with everyone, I never got used to that. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. Like I went, on Facebook, we're all old enough to know before Facebook, before all this social media stuff, and everything. It was different. Like you talked to actual people. You called on the phone and you talked, or then you were able to start texting, and that was that. Oh no, I'm sorry. You call. Maybe you got a pager. Then maybe you got a two-way pager and you could text. Then you got a cell phone where you can text and do all that stuff. But you didn't every 5 minutes text your friend, I just had these eggs over here at this restaurant. Here, let me see this picture. No, you didn't just like wake up and declare your love for your political party and your hatred for everybody else, or whatever you do on social media. I just rolled to the blunt and I'm about to smoke it. Now, you might tell your friends that. And that's cool. But a lot of people just putting stuff out there in the universe to just because, and that's not cool. Now, it's good things that come with social media. You get the news quicker, but it's a lot of news quicker. For the most part, you get a notification from a site and like, that's cool. The Lakers won, or that's cool. He won the fight. Blah 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 blah. Or this is going on. It's that kind of stuff. But I just don't get it. And when you're at that level, you really, because a lot of people at that level, they hire teams to do their social media. If you're smart, you have a management team and they take care of that for you, so you don't get caught up in saying something like when you're, if you're a LeBron James and you're drunk and you got your phone and somebody just made you mad and you just still go on the tirade and just because, that does not look good. That's terrible, and everybody's going to talk about it. But why that fighter went at LeBron, I don't know. But it's one of those things that where you want to go for the most popular person that you could think of and try to just get your name associated with them. You know what I mean? So you start talking about them and hoping that they respond. It's just like, like when you do a diss track on somebody, and I'm gonna take. I know this is kind of dated because I don't really haven't followed any hip hop beef or anything like that, but. What is that dude? The dude from Cleveland, Machine Gun Kelly, wanted to take shots at Eminem, hoping that he dissed him. And when Eminem dissed him, he's popping champagne because now his name is out there. You know what I mean? Come on now, come on. Now you just clout chasing. I mean, if I'm using that term correctly. But still,
yeah, you are.
But still, you have to really think about what you're doing, and what you're saying, and what you're putting out there in the world for people. If you are in those positions, and you have to protect, because it was a big industry thing or a big thing to be a brand. You got to protect your brand. You are a personal brand. Amante Guy's a personal brand. M Parks is a brand. No Shame. M&B. We all have our personal brand, and we're branded together to do this show. So if you say something off cuff, and people hear it, and then we all suffer from that. You know what I mean? And I get that, and I understand.
That's true.
So yeah, go ahead, M. Parks.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying with that. Because I work with children, and on my social media, you'll never see me with a glass in my hand or anything like that. And even on here, I feel like I can say what I say and get my point across without using any fancy words or anything like that. And it's not to say that no one else has to do it, or even certain things. We had conversations in a past podcast where we had the views expressed by MMB are MMB's views. Now, in this day and age, it is upon us, if we don't agree with it, to say something to you about it, because if we don't say anything, it's almost like we're rocking with it and we're letting it go through customs. And the approach to that could be, oh, heck no, don't say that, or humor or whatever, or sarcasm to say, no, bro, this ain't that. So it is on us as individuals, or if we are our own brand, to come together and do things, but also understand that every person has freedom of speech. And I can't necessarily be held accountable for everything you do, like you can't be held accountable for everything that I do.
Yes, and when you're one of these people, I think it was I was watching a streaming site, and it was something with Kevin Hart, and when he was going to host the Oscars. And some comments that he made on Twitter years ago resurfaced, and people started to go at him and cause all kind of controversy. And they wanted him to apologize. And he just said, "I did it, and I'm not doing it again." And he had a meeting with his team, his production team. Was like, "Look, I understand." And this could have just been done for the cameras. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was genuine or not. It seemed to be genuine, because it was kind of a documentary. But he went through and he said his piece. He allowed his team to talk, and he said, "I know that kind of stuff could affect us all, and I'm doing everything that I can to protect you guys, as well as this company and what I do." And I thought, it's absolutely true, because you affect so many. You go out there and make an ass out of yourself. You are affecting not only you, but not a lot of people think about that, but your family and things like that. And if you don't have like a specific brand or anything, but you have a family name, like nobody want to be associated with the asshole, that did something dumb. But it's tough. It's tough because everybody is so, "Oh, you don't like this? I hate you." But we've known each other for years. "I hate you. Get out of my face. Don't talk to me no more." Like that's not how this is supposed to work. That's not how that is supposed to go. If you have an opposing view and you are a friend, you listen to that view and you say, "Okay, this is what I think," and you guys can agree to disagree and be like, "Well, we just won't discuss that topic anymore." But you shouldn't be, and this is depending on the topic. I'm not talking about I'm not going to even make any silly comment, but just if you're going to be talking about, let's just use this as a political. If you're going to be voting for a Republican, you're going to be voting for a Democrat. A lot of people I hear, oh, he's one of those. I can't deal with. No.
Right.
Cut them off.
People love to put you in a box.
Love it. They love to just put you in a box.
And, when people meet you, they pre-qualify you. I feel like they pre-qualify. They want to know what you do for a living, where you live at. They want to know your religious beliefs. They want to know your political beliefs. And I feel like it's all an attempt to put you in this box. You know what I mean? And I feel like as a society, we've all done it subconsciously or consciously. I definitely don't. I think it's a toxic trait. I don't think that's a good. It's a good because you could potentially be missing out on somebody that could be beneficial to your life in different aspects, just because you feel like because they don't agree with you on one particular view that you guys don't have anything else in common. Like it's very mature to think like that, and just to operate mentally like that is just you're doing yourself a major disservice.
Yeah, I mean, you are, and I don't know. How do you guys feel about it, Parks?
I feel like for example, I've been quarantined up since March. Haven't went inside my parents' house because they're older, and I feel like if they get COVID because of me, then I'm gonna have a hard time with that. But Saturday was the first time that I visited friends, and knowing that they have different political views now versus prior to a lot of the social justice events that happened, we didn't have any problems with it. We just were who we were. And maybe I held on to it more than maybe I should have. But this past weekend, we just got together and we hung out. And they were doing stuff that I wouldn't traditionally do. These are guys who have a broken washing machine, and they have hooked it up and put bricks in it to see if it will spin and if the bricks will break it and things like that. So they're obviously doing things that I traditionally wouldn't do. But I know they have different political affiliations, different beliefs on what's going on at the current time. And we always were able to get past that because it wasn't really brought up. It was just people hanging out with common interests in cars, et cetera, et cetera. It was a little different for me at first. And some of those things came up slightly, but we were who we were prior to all these events happening. So when it did come up, you were you and I was me, and we let it go based on you have a point, I have a point, and that's that. I think in this day and age, it's really easy to create foes out of friends that you've had when it should be a situation where I know I might not be able to change you to think what I think and vice versa, but I'm going to be the best example of what I believe in for you to see moving forward, so that if you do change your mind or even contemplate it, you can rely on me as being someone who is solid and will support you in that change, but also not alienate you for what you feel or how you feel in order to keep you, I don't know, just pushing for you to be better, like they're pushing for me to understand their point of view. I can understand their point of view. I've always been expected in society to be a middle-class, middle-aged white male. I don't know that others outside of who I am have ever been expected to be me. If those expectations are something that they would want to live into, be proud of, and move in that fashion where it is something that is positive. And so while I can identify with you to a certain extent because of who you are, I also understand that there's certain aspects of who I am that you will never be able to understand. And I hope that I can teach you more and make you be more familiar in order for you to maybe give the benefit of the doubt or not be so concrete in your thoughts, because there are more than one. There's more than one variable out there. There's more than one just me out there who potentially could use your support as an ally to help make positive changes without it costing you anything other than maybe a change in your state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I never really thought about it like that. You expect it to be a certain way, and wow, that makes a lot of sense. And because as we get older, when you're growing up, and how we grew up. I know I've known Amount to God and No Shame for a while, and I met Parks. I think how old was I? Like 19, 20 years old. But it was different because we grew up and we went to schools in areas that were diverse. especially in middle school. Myself and Amount God, we went to an elementary that was not very diverse. It was kind of, right?
Sort of, but it was majority Caucasian. It was.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, going from 95th Street off Manchester to Billy Mitchell in Lawndale, and was
right.
a little. It was
culture shock.
Yeah, culture shock. It was different, and you get that. Not just. I mean, not this is a bad thing, but you like the influences that you encounter. They influence your behavior, and it's if you're dealing with a certain type of people, you're going to be influenced by those people. Or if you're around a certain type of people all the time, you're going to be influenced by them. And I get that. And it took a while for me to kind of shake that. When you start learning about conformity and things like that, and how to separate yourself from the pack, and knowing some of your actions, if you do go against what is considered to be quote unquote normal, you can have the potential to be ostracized, and to be looked at as and people will look down upon you, and it really is tough. When you have something like this, to where it's not to the point where you are feeling like I'm trying to put it into words, but like when you think about the political parties and how they are now, it really is. And I know I've used this analogy before, but it's like the Hatfield and McCoys. They'll sit there, your neighbor, whoever puts out whatever flag or for their particular candidate, and that the next door neighbor hates them, and then now they're just beefing. But they were cool the day before, and then this happens, right. And now you're not cool anymore, and now it's that the whole thing is over because you display your interest in this particular thing because they automatically assume that you, and they project all of those things that they think about that candidate onto you, like you're their representative. And I get it. Some people are obnoxious with theirs, and that's it's going to happen regardless. And I get that. And those are outliers. Not everybody. Well, they were. Now the outliers are becoming the norm. So now the outliers are the people who critically think and aren't afraid to say, "Hey, I am such and such. Let's just, for example, I am a black man, and I'm at a certain status, and I think that certain policies that Joe Biden is doing, I don't really agree with them. I'm leaning more towards Donald Trump." You say that to somebody, and they will look like your face just fell off in certain circles, and it is what it is, and I don't agree with that, and I don't know, I'm not saying that I'm for Trump or anything like that. I just don't agree with the sentiment that just because you are certain may feel a certain way, and you think with your own mind, and you feel a certain way, that you should be attacked for that, and vice versa. You shouldn't be attacked for liking and being able to articulate why. You're not just following. If you are, that's a different issue. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that can critically think, which is severely lacking in today's society. I will keep saying that to the end until I see different. Critically thinking is not going on. It's social media, quick blurps. You get that, boom, headlines. That's it. You're not deep diving into things anymore. You're not thinking for yourself anymore.
The vision, man.
Huh?
It's the vision. I mean, I feel like I feel like you know, I feel like the world has done a good job at, it's like a Jedi mind trick at teaching us how to stay divided. And some people just look at any reason to just like separate themselves from you. It's like if you travel internationally, you've probably experienced some kind of hatred towards you because people feel like, oh, you're American, so you automatically believe in everything America has done. When you're like, hey, hold on, I'm American, I live in America. That doesn't mean I believe everything that the government has done and everything that America stands for. I'm sure many citizens of their country feel the same way. However, when you go to these different countries and you travel, you get people that treat you mean just based off the fact that you're American.
Yeah.
And they just look at you like, oh, you're American. You live over there where that Trump guy runs the country. We don't want you around. And you're like, can I open my mouth? Can I say hello first? Do you even know my name? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you already dismissed me and separated yourself from me based on the fact of a geological location that I'm from. And you automatically think I believe that in the ways of that land. I could be a victim of the land and not even looking at the fact that you're a black man or whatever. Like, hey, like there's a lot of stuff that goes on in America that we really don't agree with. Mm-hmm. But when you get overseas and you go different places, people will treat you different off the back because, oh, they hear you have an American accent, or they just smell America on you. You don't have to open your mouth. They know you're from America. You know what I mean? And they just treat you different. I experienced that when I was in Europe. They know when I was in the Caribbean. They have a lot of racism in the Caribbean as far as dark complexion and lighter complexion. When you go down there, you're going to see billboards of politicians, actors, and actresses, and every single person on those billboards throughout the entire countryside is going to be fair-skinned. And eventually, because I was down there and I asked, hey, why don't I see any dark-skinned people on these billboards? Like, we didn't drove across this whole country. And then, it's just a shame that the world is that way. It sucks, man. It really does,
Yeah, and if it wasn't this, then it'd be something else to fight about, just because it's just ingrained in our nature, it seems like, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I hope it does, but unfortunately, I'm not going to hold my breath. But No Shame, do you have any thoughts on it?
Nah, man, I think everybody summed it up for those who was unclear what was going on. I think you guys painted the perfect picture, and I don't need to even elaborate on anything. It would just be stepping on your guys' toes. I'm not going to do
Thanks,
it.
No Shame.
But what about your personal experiences, like as far as like what you personally experienced?
I mean, it's basically literally the same thing, man. It's this. Yeah, it is. It's just
When a black man makes this sound, you already know what it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I can't even elaborate. You guys took every. You guys painted the picture perfectly.
Yeah. No. I get it. I understand. It's
and I mean it's just. Well, I mean, just with the four of us. I mean, just everybody's like, like clear-mindedness and kind of like the insight is, I believe that is not only insightful, but, it's coming from a place to where it's not like there ain't no emotion in it, or it's just like, it's like, hey, this is what I observed, it's taking an intellectual, stance on it, and I think you guys cover it. And I mean, especially with four of us, and especially with you guys with an intellect, y'all hit it. That's all I could say, man. I'm like, well, let me just sit back and just let y'all do y'all thing, because y'all done touched everything.
I mean, it is one of those things where if you I think it's certain things are happening, like you said, Ahmad, that we are being tricked and we are being fed and we're being put into these positions to where they're feeding into the closed-mindedness and the ignorance.
Oh my God, you hit it right on the head with that one, man.
And you just can't be in this day and age out there just blindly following people. It's just so much at stake, and it's so much that that people need to be able to do. And again, everybody can't just go on social media and just type out their, how they feel and what they want to do. And some people that you don't know what. And I mean, it's to kind of bring it back to this guy. I don't think he needs to know if LeBron is donating to certain people or if he's doing this or whatever. You don't need to know that, and he shouldn't have to put that out there for you to respect or even understand where he's coming from. It's just like if a person doesn't want to express how they feel publicly, then they shouldn't have to. Like you always go to work. You don't want to discuss politics at work, which is very true, because especially nowadays, because if you say something like, "Oh, I believe this," then they're looking at you funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then and now
you don't even have to say nothing. You could actually have a shirt on or a sticker or a bumper sticker.
Oh my God!
You don't have to even say anything. I work in the construction field, and I have a hard hat with a ton of stickers on there. And some of my stickers I have a sticker that's kind of subtle. It just says "Stay woke," and I noticed that when I'm talking to certain coworkers, especially the different races and stuff like that, they don't look me in the face. They just stare at that sticker. And I've even had one guy ask me what it meant, and I just said, "Don't."
Hotep.
You know what I'm saying? I had one guy ask me what it meant. I said, "Don't go to sleep." But I can feel the energy that it makes certain people uncomfortable when they talk to me. They don't even look at my face; they looking at my hard hat and they looking at that sticker, and I can feel the uncomfortable energy. And I'm just like, why does that make you so uncomfortable? It just says "Stay woke." What is so I could just feel that energy when I talk to certain people. It's just crazy to me.
And it's because the "Stay woke." I mean, and people take certain things because the "Stay woke" was a sentiment to mean that just don't. I mean, and for lack of a better term, it's just like don't fall for the okie doke. You know what I mean? Just to kind of simplify it. Don't just fall for the okie doke. Look, stay woke. They'll try to lull you to sleep to make you think that this is good. It's not.
And you're advertising it. To advertise it is saying that I am completely aware of all the shenanigans that you might potentially be trying, and I'm reminding others to be aware. Don't even try to get me. I can play a sucker to catch a sucker, all of those things. Yeah. But to encourage others is a broadcast that provides people with the potential power to actually overcome some of the things that they are going through or be aware of things that they weren't aware of. Yeah. And so when you do that, you are spreading propaganda that could be something that could uplift some folks and also hold other people accountable. So they want to know by asking you, what does that mean? Because they want it to be, something that is just whatever, versus it having a real meaning, and they have to deal with you on an intellectual level. I don't know you that well, but I worked construction for years. And when I would talk about, and I worked over the summer to help me pay for college. So I come in, I'm not walking around like a college guy or anything like that from the Glee Club. And when I started to talk and display my intellect along with being able to throw bricks or knock down walls, it was like, this ain't just some dumb construction worker. And one of the things that my uncle taught me that I really believe in was that I just look like this. So in your hat, in your overalls, with your hammer on or your tool belt or your boots or whatever, you just look like what a person would look like from that field. but that doesn't limit your intellect or ability. Some folks are just smart enough to do that. Other folks are smart enough to do that, make a living off of it, and do other things as well. So that could be an issue because it could create a potential shift in energy on the job, especially when you're working in diverse environments where there could be a hierarchy based on nepotism or
I've thought about all of that.
color, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're there, it's almost like your hard hat has a fist held up in the air. Like, it might as well be a red, black, and green hard hat at that point. Because if I saw it, I'm giving you the head nod, like, what up, though? We were conversing.
When
other folks, it's like, what is that? Because some people would prefer folks to not be awake, and some folks who are sleeping don't want to be awake either. Whether it be
my God,
folks like who look like you, or folks like if people band together, and we are powerful beings. That's why this podcast, for what it's worth, is so strong. Is because you have, intellectuals from different walks of life coming together to share something, our feelings, our thoughts, our intuition, our motives, our background. That usually doesn't happen because as men, we are usually isolated in our own pods. And we might come out, hey, I'm having a tough time with this, but we don't share the smaller things that are the results of why the reasons for the results that we see. We hide them. Something happened to me, I won't share it because I'm a man, and that's what society expects. So when you're wearing that hat, it is a flag for who you are as an individual representing the nation that you come from.
Yeah, but it's also educational because I've been able to educate, some people, who've had questions or just come at me, really authentically and they just want to be educated on my views and things like that. It's a conversation starter. And, and in construction business, it's really about networking. It's about who you know. So it's helped me in a lot of ways. And I'm sure that it probably didn't help me in a lot of ways, but there's some avenues that I really don't want to go down. And there's some avenues that I do want to go down. So, sometimes I have conflicted thoughts about whether I should keep it on my hat or not. But, I've kept it on there.
Good.
And it's okay to be a man of many hats.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Sometimes I don't wear it at all.
Well, that's OSHA. Go ahead then if you want to.
Yeah, it's just like that movie, They Live. You found the glasses and you were able to see everything they were doing. I got one that can see. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. All right, cool. And what was the other one that's kind of that when you talk about somebody that's like that don't want to be woke?
Exactly. That was a good point that he made when he said that, because there's a lot of people that just will be ready to stab you in your head if you try to awaken them out of their sleeping state, because that's just their mom, because they're passionate because their grandma taught them that. And if my grandma taught me that before she died, and they're passionate about it, and there's nothing you can say or do to change your mind about it. And if you try to change your mind about it, in their eyes, you're saying your grandma wasn't shit.
Well, there's level of being asleep, just like there's levels to being awake.
Exactly.
And even me, where I'm at, I'm sure there are areas that I am slightly familiar with that I could delve off into and become even more awake. But that comfort of where I am and maneuvering in this and growing on my own versus jumping haphazardly into what someone else is doing in their area when they're selling it is not what I'm comfortable with. So I may get there or I might look into it. But like I said, not all sleep is REM sleep or the other areas, or, you got some, I only sleep well with the CPAP mask type sleep. So apnea is out here in the world, whether you are in bed or walking around.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Great point.
It's the real deal.
Yeah,
Great point. It's definitely there. And it's sad because it's another form of division. It's back to what I said earlier. That's something that keeps us divided. It's just like, Now that we're in the age of information, there's really no reason that you shouldn't know certain things. A lot of questions that people have, you could Google it or look it up online. And sometimes people just act like they have no idea how to figure it out. We live in the age of information. So, if you don't know something, it probably has something to do with a little bit of, you're not doing your own research. But there's just tons of information that's available right now. So there's no reason for people to be ignorant towards certain things unless they really just want to be ignorant.
Of course.
It's not always ignorance. It's you being happy where you are. So, for example, from a religious standpoint, if you don't believe in something and it's working for you, you stand with that. If you believe in something and it's working for you, you're standing that. If your beliefs aren't as high as someone else's, it's almost like, I'm like, for example, if you're a Christian and somebody else is saying you need to believe da, you're like, you know what? Jesus has been good to me. I'm gonna stick with him. Because, if I got it now. The other thing on the other side might be a riskier bet. You hope it's not a higher reward because you believe in Jesus or Allah versus whatever someone else is believing in. But again, like I said, I know folks who appear to be very enlightened, and where I am right now, I'm cool and it's working for me, and I see the positive residuals of what I'm doing, so I don't feel the need to delve off into what you're doing, and I almost don't want it to be as successful because I'm rocking with what I'm rocking with. So when you think about it from a religious standpoint, you transfer that over into a political standpoint. If you being a Democrat has allowed you to be successful in life, then you're going to rock with that. If you being a Republican has allowed you to be successful in life, you're going to be anti-Democrat just based on the fact that change might alter your income, how you treat other people, how you view life, what others might think of you, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's comfort in your ability to pick and choose what you want, and then also allowing someone else.
Now,
that the key word was comfort. Comfort. People are comfortable there, and that's it. And that's all that needs to be said. People don't want you disturbing their comfort.
Yeah. Now, I think that's the systemic issue that we have, is that people feel that this party is for this and this party is for that, and it needs to be, especially nowadays, to me. And I know I'm going to sound like I'm living in some kind of fairy tale land, but it needs to be what's better for the country as a whole. Now, there needs to be sacrifices on for everyone, and I mean to get to kind of right this. And I'm not saying that this is going in the wrong direction, but it kind of is. I mean, just it's not in the best place right now. The whole country as a whole, and not saying that the current leadership has done all of this himself, because that's not, that'd be ridiculous to say, because you only get to affect change for the certain amount of time that you're there, and you're not a dictator. There's not a dictatorship. It's a lot of different things and a lot of different sides, because you have these checks and balances in the system that are set up. But a lot of the checks and balances are set up to placate to certain sectors of society, and it shouldn't be like that. And it's growing, and it's becoming more and more where it's ingrained. If you are a person who has a lot of money, or you are down on your luck, that believes in God, more than likely you're a Republican. And if you are a non-minority, or how can I put it? If you're Caucasian, white, whatever. That's kind of how I've been seeing it. And again, I just don't want to delve too deep into like how that works. But I sit around and I talk to people, and I welcome. I don't challenge or anything like that. I just listen. and I listen to these, because you go into, I like to frequent cigar lounges every once in a while, and I just sit there and I'll have a cigar and I'll listen to people talk, and I'll listen to how they say things, or what they're, and how these particular views affect them, and they're eye-opening things. You know, I don't immediately get up and leave in a huff, like, oh my God, I can't believe, you know. But I'm not.
It's like people watching with your ears.
You know, you're just listening, and you understand, and you get it, and you get a different perspective. And that's
Right.
another thing, is that when you're not taking that opportunity to put yourself in that person's shoes, or to think outside of yourself, just for a little bit, I think that you're closing yourself off to and making your shortchanging yourself.
How often do we do that? When I'm articulating my point, how often do I present the counterpoint to my point while articulating my point? And so when you talk about new leadership that has been in the office for the past 4 years, I don't think he brought up anything that was new. I think he uncovered things that someone like Ahmad with the Stay Woke already knew about, but it's brought it to plain sight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Brought
you
it to your
already
conscious
knew where
mind.
people stood. It just wasn't talked about. It was interpreted
It was-
and understood. And so when you have someone who was like, let's be a little more out front with this, that's when it becomes an issue, because you aren't hoping for the best out of someone or looking past what you think, because you don't want to be you don't want to stereotype them or be a bigot or anything like that. You are now able to see, like, no, this is where this mug comes from, and it is definitely countering where I am at in my life. And like you said, Martin, I listen a lot, man. Sometimes I just have to talk, but part of it is I want to learn where you come from, and maybe there's a benefit in that for me, but in most cases, it's not.
Okay, I can see what you're saying about that, and again, because it is tough, that fine line of learning, like when you learn about or hearing somebody's. And I think it all depends on how it's conveyed to, how it's brought to you, You know, if you're just like me, just sitting there ear hustling, listening to people, or just kind of just in, not that I'm ear hustling, but I'm just around and people are talking about a certain subject, and I just happen to sit down in the middle of it, and I'm hearing what they're saying. I don't need to interject or anything, unless I have something poignant to say. I just listen, but it is to me, I've always learned more by doing that, and I've learned empathy, and I've learned patience, and I've learned how to really. Let me see. I think it's just better. It was just better for me to see the world in different, instead of just like it has to be this way. I just wanted to kind of just open it up and see. Like, let's just say, for example, music. I grew up listening to, Motown, and then you get older, you can listen to the rap,
Sade.
stuff. Sade is my favorite artist of all time, and then as I got a little older, we started listening to other types of genres, and it was like, man, this is good too. I shouldn't. Why? Where? What? How have I missed this? It's been out there readily available, but why wasn't it? And why couldn't I get to it until now? And that's just because I wasn't looking for it. It was always there, but I wasn't looking for it. And that's a lot of things about getting older, getting smarter, being more awake, because you can still
stay woke.
You can still You can still be getting older, and you can still just be as naive as you were when you were younger. You're still getting older, but your mindset is going to carry on to where you feel certain things are this way and there's nothing in between. And there's a lot of, people want to live in this black and white world now, no pun intended, but it's a gray area. And there's a huge gray area. And it
sucks.
Yeah. And it really is frustrating when you have to see all of this, and you have this stuff that's being fed and is being bred, this hatred and the stuff that's just being perpetuated by people in leadership that you think should know better, but they have their own personal agenda and or they're just ignorant. So
I feel like it takes a small-minded individual to operate in a manner in which it says, I am not capable of agreeing to disagree with you. I can only be upset with you and divide myself from you if you disagree with my view on one topic. I feel like
sometimes that disagreement is necessary, and those avenues are important.
No, I understand. I understand that.
I understand what you're saying too, but I just want to make sure that we reflect that some stuff you just can't come back from.
Oh yeah, I know. I understand that there's certain things that is just hold on now. If that's what you really believe, yes, a deal. I understand you do have your deal breakers. I do get that point. Especially when it comes to very sensitive topics. I get that point. But it's just a shame that a lot of it is not sensitive topics, and a lot of it is not looked at it as deal breakers, but what certain people view as deal breakers are not deal breakers to a majority. And it just sucks that we as a society cannot just agree to disagree on certain things and move forward with our lives, as far as like you were saying, Parks, you and I were friends that you've been friends with for years. And in certain cases, what took place would not have favorable results, and that just sucks, I understand that they do have topics that are deal breakers, but I'm just talking about different topics, certain things that we can't control, certain things that, are going to be, have the same results regardless of what happens. We argue a lot about political views. We argue a lot about Democrat and Republican, but, I don't know. My personal opinion, sometimes I feel no matter who's in office, it's not going to be that big of a difference. But there's other people that will go to their grave and argue you to death on that.
No, I hear you that. I feel like no matter who's in office, nobody has my personal interest in mind. But
exactly.
There may be more obstacles. But I've also had, you don't need to be a Democrat because the Democrats have all these programs. You should come over here to the Republican Party because we got vouchers and, so it's another program, and so
right.
I haven't even pledged a political affiliation, but based on black folks in America, the majority of us vote Democrat if we vote. So it's for me, I want to know what is available, but certain questions you ask, what are the benefits of me giving my vote? Oh, you need to be bought? No, you don't need to be bought to be a Republican. If you want me to be a Republican or a Democrat, what are the things that would allow me to say this is, because we all have the things of, whether it be gun ownership or Roe versus Wade with abortion and pro-life, and those things you're on one side or the other, and people are willing to compromise to certain things. But for me, it's what are the things that you're doing at this point in time that could better a person like me? And in most cases, you're already good enough, man. What the programs and privileges that you would get if you were not at the economic status that we perceive you to be at, you could get it, but you don't apply for it. So you kind of have to be out here getting it like everybody else. And I'm perfectly fine with that as an individual. So then I'm saying, well, what happens with me being like you? And most of the folks that I encounter can't articulate that because they use talking points.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, I just want to kind of backtrack of something that I said, and I didn't. I mean, in hindsight, as I said it and I thought about it, there are a lot of nuances to picking your political party, and I don't want to just throw that out there and just leave it out there like that, where it said white and low income Bible, people that believe in God or all that stuff are just voting Republican. That's not like I said, that's just too vague and too broad. And I didn't mean it like that. So I'm just going to do a little autocorrect there. It's just that it's a thing that we need to fix in society, how we view and how we treat each other, period. And I think the more understanding of each other and the less dividing, the less because of people not willing or wanting to understand or wanting to learn about something that's different from what they know. If we can have more people that want to, that are encouraged to, I think we'll be in a better place, and not have all of this that is going on currently, and that's really trying to separate our not just black and white, but just different cultures, and it seems like we're devolving, and that's not good. So
right.
On that note, I mean, I'm going to. If you guys have anything else that you want to add, any other comments?
Well, we got the election coming up. We got all this stuff going on. We had the I forget her name. I'm sorry for that because I'm ashamed to say, but I forgot her name. The Senate, the judge that just recently passed.
Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, there you go. We had her. She just passed, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really understand who she was and what she did, but then I started researching her, and I seen that everything she did for women's rights. You know what I mean? As far as like getting women, she gave women a voice.
Yeah.
So let's say rest in peace to her. And we were all hoping that when the election came, we were going to be able to elect someone to take over her seat. But you see, Trump is already on the move. He ain't even wait to her funeral. He already waiting to replace her.
Yeah. Well, this is a stranglehold.
But
that's what the parties do. They put a stranglehold on it. And
I
said that's what those parties. Each one they put a stranglehold on the Supreme Court. I mean, because they're sitting. I mean, they're there for life. So whoever's in power when people are unfortunately pass away, then whoever's in power at the time, their pick gets in, and it is what it is.
But I'd like to give a shout out to all the black people that won Emmys today. Regina King, Dave Chappelle, Tyler Perry, Uzu Adubu, Reginald Hudlin, and I can't say the other name. It's getting complicated. But
Redman?
I said I said Reginald Hudlin.
Reggie Noble?
Okay. Yeah.
Reginald Hudlin has been in the game a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I remember he originally wrote and produced House Party. But he's been in the game. Yeah, he's been in the game a long time. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Emmys. For recognizing them, especially Regina King, man, and Dave Chappelle.
Did she get the Watchmen, Regina King?
Huh?
Did she get the Emmy for the Watchmen?
I'm not 100% sure what she got it for.
I don't even care. She could have got an Emmy for best shopper at Walmart. As long as she recognized for her greatness.
I mean, she's been around since 227, man.
Yeah, I get it. Lifetime achievement.
She had that one show that a lot of people slept on. It was like LAPD and South Central.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It was dope, but a lot of people wasn't feeling it. But it was hard, and she was doing her thizzle in it.
She won it for Watchmen.
This is her fourth Emmy, guys. This is her fourth Emmy.
She won.
Oh, so she must have won it from Southland.
And I just looked it up, and it says that she won for Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yep. Had to be.
That show was
Yeah.
good.
I
That
haven't
show was
seen
amazing.
much. I just know it's going to be amazing whenever I get to it.
So we at fault for because I never watched it. I mean, I'm happy she won, but I don't know who was against her.
And
what she did.
During her,
That's where they had folks. Adam Church was like, "I'm going for everything that's black." Like, I don't. She could have been doing something that was detrimental. I don't know. I haven't followed, and so I guess that tells me that I need to follow along more in order to be fully aware of what's going on and fully appreciative of the monumental accomplishments. But I also say, yeah, the Grammys is cool, but they will not like for everyone that we thought was great. I think it was John Leguizamo. I don't want to mess up his last name. Was like, I'm not watching because Latino people aren't involved in this. So, you know, it becomes a situation where are you just for you or people of color or are they? You know, it's complicated. But I don't want to take away from what you're saying, Ahmad, because I feel like it's definitely important for everyone to see your people in a positive light, and you to see your people in a positive light as well. So
and for our children and people that's coming forward in our future, because it's extremely easy to get discouraged. So this is like something that's very great, you know, for them to be able to see, you know, just like rest in peace Chadwick, you know, Boseman, like, you know, like this is something that's what he did in his time and what he was going through makes him legendary.
And you
know what I
got
mean?
no clue what that brother went through.
Sometimes you don't have no clue what people are going through, man.
No
like,
shame. Speak on that.
I
don't want to interrupt, but no,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I want to hear your thoughts on that. You don't have to get all in depth with any, you know, but I definitely want to hear, you know.
So, listen, man, all the time he was diagnosed and everything, and as far as with his condition, he's filming movies and working out and undergoing chemo treatment. All right, he has colon cancer. The first thing that they want to do is try to get everything out before they get to snipping and cutting. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, it seemed like, you know, whatever they did that they needed to do, they had to cut the colon, right? And then cut out the piece that's malignant, sew it back up, give you a colostomy bag for a few months until everything repair, and then you good to go. And then on top of that, he still has to go chemo, which is probably like every 2 weeks, week and a half, and you don't know if it's like intravenous or radiation or pills, but whatever it is, it's gonna be intravenous or you're gonna do pill, you know. And just to be able to do that, just the sickness and all the effects that stuff have and does, just to make those movies, the smile and stuff, because it messes up everything, man. Your whole mood and how you move,
right?
And like you can't, let alone like to have the energy to walk around, homie. That brother. That brother, man, a lot of people don't know. That brother, man,
legendary.
I don't know how he did it. Like, literally, like, I'm still sitting up here weak. I don't know how he did it, man.
Legendary.
Dude, it's just, you know, it's just one of those things. Is once it starts spreading like that, it's a done deal, you know. Once this stuff metastasized, especially stage 4, that means not only he got in his colon, he got it in multiple parts in his body. Now, you know, that a lot of people don't understand that. Stage 4 is like, is everywhere in your body. So it's like the brother was going through hell and he was putting a smile on his face, basically. And don't nobody really know. It's a cold game, man. I'm kind of disappointed that, you know, that was his his journey, but at the same time he did it with dignity, didn't complain about it, wasn't showing talent about it. It's like, my hat's off to him, man. It take a man to do that, not no boy, not no wannabe actor or anything. It take a man.
Right.
I salute. Salute.
And for a lot of people that don't know how the movie industry works, or the television or the entertainment industry, as far as what we see on TV, those days on set, especially on a movie, those days on set are extremely demanding.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you're doing 20 something hours a day. You know what I mean? And you got to do them scenes. One scene, you might have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over. It's extremely demanding. It's an extremely demanding lifestyle. You're doing everything on a time limit. So, you know, you might work 20 some hour days, and then you might go back and work another 20 something hour day. Like, it's extremely demanding. So, you know, shout out to him and shout out to his camp for keeping it, you know, quiet. And, you know, like, that dude is a legend, man. I mean, come on, man. Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson, you know, James Brown.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he played some iconic figures.
You see,
he was a true actor until the very end, especially when nobody knew that you had it.
Exactly.
And you were acting like you were okay. And then we talked about it earlier. I just look like this. Folks were talking about his looks changing. And then after after death, oh, that's why. Yeah,
people are so damn insensitive. That's a fucking shame. That's
when
just.
I seen the Five Bloods, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, the Five Bloods. Yeah, I seen that too.
Maybe he dropped weight for this role. That's what I was thinking. But then you know, when I heard the news, you know, I definitely I knew what time it was. It's you know, my whole thing. I kind of
he was dying in that role. While dying in this world.
That when
that's
movie, that's
acting to the nth degree. Well, I know we're supposed to talk about that, and I don't believe we did, but
that's crazy that you mentioned that. It's just like Robin Williams' last film. Like, you know, Robin Williams played a suicidal patient in his last role, and then what happened in his real life?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Robert Williams, he was a legend, but you know, I already.
Shout out to Robin Williams, man. That's one of my favorite comedians, man. Like, amongst a lot of other ones.
Man, dude, he was ill, man. Anybody could touch everybody.
Yeah. I still listen to him on Pandora and a lot of other comedians.
Nah, he's ill, man. He's ill. It's just like that coke, dog. I always knew he liked that coke. It's just the way he moved, man. He ain't nobody that much energy. You know, there's some people who's energetic, but not like that. You know, energy, homie. I know for a fact. I've seen it.
Yeah, there's some comedians that are very high strung, and it's a lot of pressure on you as a comedian, and it's just an actor, period. But especially a comedian, because they want you to like tell jokes on cue. Like, that's a lot of pressure, and you got hundreds of people on set plus the planet watching you. So it's a lot of pressure on you. So, you know, if you have personal issues that are unresolved, you know, your world could be caving in on you. And like, you know, I think Parks spoke on it earlier. As men, we don't talk enough. We don't vent. We don't vent enough. We keep shit bottled in. I mean, who knows who could have helped that guy? You know what I'm saying? We talking about Robin Williams. He been on TV since Mork and fucking Mindy, like since the 70s. And nobody could like come to his aid. Nobody knew what he was going through, to the point where he just like, you know, ultimately destroyed himself. Like, it just sucks. Sucks, man. So it's good. It's good for us to have this platform. It's good for us to be able to, you know, speak to one another and just vent. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you this much, man. Like, kind of wish Chadwick would have spoke up on it, but dude, like, as a black male, if you like, I suggest you go ahead, get your colonoscopy. Just set it up, homie.
What is the age limit? What is the age? It's 50 years old, right?
Listen, homie. 40. Fuck that. Listen, statistically, this is statistically, man. And I'm gonna keep it true. Statistically, black males and Hispanic males, minority males, have a higher percentage of getting colon cancer. Normally, they start at 40, but from what I'm seeing in recent research, it's hitting before 40. And then the thing is, you want to catch it before things start going to different parts of the body, because
I got to do it too. Prostate cancer runs in my family, and I'm 42, and I feel great.
And so
I haven't gone, and I think for the next show, because I know we are, you know, at a different lecture at hand, but we definitely wanted to tune in and talk about, you know, male health issues or mental health issues and things like that, to encourage our listening party to encourage themselves and others to do what it takes. Because I'm 42, and I don't want nothing.
Dude,
But,
black men, we need to get over that.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Nah,
I know I'm late, especially with my family history.
listen, man.
But no news is good news until bad news hits, and then
Right. My suggestion: go ahead and get the test. My suggestion: you get your CT scan if your insurance will provide it. Get your CT scan, head to toe. Get you a colonoscopy. Simple as that. Simple.
Yeah, I've had a prostate exam before, but I haven't, because I know a woman. She's a nurse, and she told me, well, based on what she told me, she said, listen, if it doesn't run in your family, then you get it done at 50. If it does run in your family, you get it done at 40.
Yeah, but you want to do it before that, because that's like pharmaceutical rules, hospital, like that's what they tell you. But see, the other thing is that they tell you to check then, because then they can see it. You want to catch it when it's like a little speck. So you want to do it in your 30s and late 20s. That's true. That's true. The shit could sit there for all this time, and then stress and all this. That shit get to growing and growing. Next thing you know, they like, hey man, we give you 3 years, hopefully 5. Giving you talk like that, and then is my suggestion, man. Do it, homie.
Sooner than later.
Do it. You don't want no.
Hello.
okay.
Just do it. Trust me. Trust me.
Nah, man, that's some real words, and that go for all our listeners too. Like, take your health, seriously. We see what happened with Chadwick, and a lot of his friends and family that are close to him that actually came out and spoke after he passed. They said that he lived the way he lived because he never thought that it would defeat him. He was a vegan. It wasn't because he was eating wrong. He was a vegan. He had been a vegan for a number of years, I read, before his death. And in his mind, in his heart, in his spirit, he honestly thought that he was going to beat that. So he lived the way he lived because he didn't think that it was going to defeat him. And I just goes to show how aggressive this thing is, and everyone should be proactive and not reactive. And that's a problem with a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying? They wait to see to something happen to react to it, and by then it's too late.
Right. Then you wish you could get a few days. Listen, man, it's just like that. If you're not healthy, if you can't walk around, take a shit and piss on your own, and do basic things in your life, then life is what is life.
Right.
You kind of want to enjoy it and be able to do those basic things, and you definitely want to start investing in that health, man. It's like if you can do it for like some new Jordans, some sneaks or some Yeezy, you can easily do it. And if you want to continue to buy Yeezys, I suggest you get on that health train.
I know mugs who donated plasma for the finer things in life.
Right.
Black and Miles, E&J, dating, all of that stuff. But I will make a vow that this year on this podcast, I will go and get my checkups. I have been very apprehensive. I feel like in certain cases, I'm indestructible in certain areas until I twist my ankle or I just gain weight. But other than that, I'm like, I'm straight. No news is good news. But I will vow that we're doing this podcast next year. At some point in time between now and the next year, we might have to have a lecture at hand about my situation. And y'all feel free to clown me, but I will do it. So you all have sparked that in me to say that I will accept the testing as best I can, despite the fact of not wanting it to be that invasive.
Dude, hey, just do it. Trust me, I had one. Just do it. Just do it, man. Just do it, man. Please.
Sound like the Nike commercial over here.
No, I don't want it to be that, but I guess I got to.
Homie, like that's how I was feeling this. Get over it, dude. I'm telling you, just do it. Just go get tested. Go to the doctor. You seen that toe not looking right and it's getting black, man, just go. because it's gonna get worse if you don't go. That blister, that bump, that with abscess, whatever, that extra bulge on the side of you, whatever.
No, man, look, like I told y'all, I work construction, right? And one of my coworkers is a black dude, he an older dude. And I hadn't seen him for a while. Like he had been gone for like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months, right? So his name is Thomas. And I seen him one day. I'm like, hey, Thomas, like, where you been at? I ain't seen him in a minute. He's like, very nonchalantly, he's like, oh man, yeah, I'm back working, bro. I had my foot amputated, but I'm back. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I had my foot amputated. So I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Because like this dude got to be like early 50s, right? So I'm like, how did that happen? And he's like, well, I have like nerve damage in my foot, which I didn't know I had, but you know, I had a cut and a bacterial infection in my foot, but I never felt the pain because of the nerve damage. Wow. So it got, so basically it got extremely bad one day. And by the time it got that bad where he could actually understand it and feel it, he went to the hospital and they was like, at this point, and he's a diabetic, and they said, at this point, we have to remove your entire foot if you want to survive. So he's telling me this extremely nonchalantly. It's almost like he talking about what he eating for lunch. Like he's telling me this really nonchalant, like, oh yeah, so I just had to remove my foot so I can hurry up and get back to work. And I'm just like, I was like hella speechless. Like, what? Like, so you don't have a foot? Like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, man, like I just told him to get rid of it and so I can get back to work. I'm like, so did they tell you that you could stay home and get paid, like disability? He's like, yeah, they offered me that shit, but I don't even want to do it. Like, that's the first like stages of death. Like, I'm not about to sit at home and do nothing.
Smart.
I'm like, you know, he's like, I'm about to come my ass back to work. Like, you know, he's like, they gave me a prosthetic foot. So he's like, at this point, I got a prosthetic foot. So he's like, 6 months ago, I had a real foot. So I'm just sitting there like in disbelief because he's so nonchalant about it. And I'm just like, wow, like, man, people really got to pay attention to their bodies, man.
And yeah, you see that at the same time, you know, most people, they let that get them down. It's like, dude, you just got to make it work, homie. It's just, hey, it happened to you, you know. You know, wish you would have caught it earlier, but you still got the prosthetic, man. Make it. You just got to make it work. There's people. I seen people with no arms and no legs, making it work, praising God, making sandwiches. No excuses. there is no excuses, man, for me not to apply myself to life. Simple as that. So a person coming in here with no arms and no legs, homie, and they making it the best. Dog, we really need to check ourselves, man. We got our priorities twisted. People
definitely, man. It's just that people take things for granted. Like I ran into one of my old coworkers. I haven't seen him in about 1.5 years, and you know, this was one of those guys who used to always be extra. Like I work in construction, so it's a dirty industry. But this is one of them guys who used to always make sure he was clean as hell, always clean, always put his stuff in the cleaners and everything else. And I used to just throw my stuff in the washer and dryer because I'm gonna get dirty anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy used to always put his stuff in the clean, always make sure he was clean. Always one of them like guys that took his time to make sure things was like nice and neat. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen him in like 1.5 years, and then I see him and he's in a wheelchair, and I'm like, shocked as hell. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing in that wheelchair? And he's like, I got into a bad accident. I bought a new car and it was too fast. And I was like driving recklessly. And, you know, I'm just thank God that I'm here. And now it's just surreal, like just to see him like that. Cause like obviously he's no longer in the industry, but like just to see him like that and know that was one of my buddies. And as a matter of fact, that hard hat that you see me wearing in that photo I sent you guys, he gave me that hard hat, but without any stickers. When he gave it to me, it didn't have no stickers on it. But when I originally started in the industry, he gave me that hat, and I haven't seen him in so long. But just to see him like that in a wheelchair is just disheartening, you know. And it's just like it just shows you how fragile life is, man. People pay attention to your health, pay attention to your bodies. You know, I mean, the food that we put in our bodies, the things that they eat, they're feeding us, the things that we eat in, you know, the stuff that we drinking. I mean, it all takes a toll on us, you know, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about just staying woke. Like a lot of this stuff it's not made and created and fed to us in our best interest. So it's up to us to like, you know, make sure that we're doing that on our own and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and pay attention to our bodies and, you just like I said, staying proactive.
Man, you have to, man.
Got to.
Enjoy it while you're here, man. Enjoy it. Don't hold back. Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you're here. That's why we're here. We ain't here to be hating and squabbling over bullshit. We're supposed to be having a little fun,
Yeah.
The praises, getting some good food, and that's it. That's it, man. We supposed to have it. It's crazy. People tripping off the bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
some of us will find this, some of us won't. The ones that do, make it last forever.
Yep. All you can do, baby.
That's it, man.
Because for a lot of us, it doesn't matter how healthy you live. I mean, there's other things in our timelines that seal our fate. You could be the healthiest person. You could be the healthiest person in the world and get in a car accident or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to live your life, proactively and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, just go to the doctors. Go get you a full checkup twice a year. Just do that twice a year. Just if you do that, man, you should be sound. That means every 6 months you should go to the doctor. Just twice a year.
Definitely.
You'll be straight, man. Just don't be like, something's worrying me and I don't want it to be something crazy. It might manifest into something else, and they might be talking about, well, we'll give you 48 hours. We get 48 hours to say goodbye.
Going to see Dr. Dre.
Well.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, because I think it is important that we discuss men's health and mental health and things like that in the later for a full show. But yeah, rest in peace to Chadwick and everybody who's
awesome,
suffering through that.
For real, that.
And
Wakanda, I would do my little Wakanda. I had to cut you. I would do my little Wakanda,
Wakanda forever, man.
Legs, shoulders.
He gave every black black child something to believe in.
Yeah, now he man, that dude's gonna go down as a goat, as a legend, man.
Legend, man.
Just the images as far as the movies he put in, just for black.
And the people that he touched, man, you know what I mean? Like online, I follow, I forget her name. She's an African actress, but she played his sister in Black Panther. And then I follow, I forget her name, but I follow Angela Bassett. I follow Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. And, I seen what they had to say afterwards. And it was like, trust me, man.
Nothing but the best.
Oh my God! Like even the older guy that worked with him on the Five Bloods was saying that, hey man, when I don't know his name because he's like he's not a known actor, but he's like he was one of the older guys that was on the Five Bloods. I forget his name, but anyhow, he was like he was like when I worked on the Five Bloods with him and I seen him getting all that special treatment, I thought he was some bougie Hollywood motherfucker. And I didn't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? I kind of kept my distance because I thought he was like some bougie Hollywood motherfucker. But he was like, you could just it wasn't him. It wasn't him. But he was like, you could just imagine like how I felt when I found out what was going on. Like, and then of course it changed his entire perspective. But it was just like you just never know what people, like I said earlier, you never know what people got going on. So shout out to that guy and everybody staying proactive and life is just a lesson, man. We give back. That's the whole purpose of life, just to give back and help others and hopefully the next generation can learn from our mistakes and that's just like where Ma the God came from. Like I just want to be one of them dudes that elevate the generation, even if it's just one notch, because we've been trained and we've been led to believe things that are so wrong. And now we're in the age of information, and it's our job to elevate our generation, even if we just elevate it one notch. So, I feel like that's displaying the God in all of us, man. We've been taught to, eat a certain way and think a certain way for so many years. And now we're just starting to wake up and realize, like, hey, the sheet has been over our head too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's time for us to rise and elevate our generations. I mean,
right.
for the fathers that are out there.
Yeah, that's good. All right, guys, we have to wrap this up. Any last words?
Nah.
I just thank y'all for listening. And I don't even have a finished move for tonight. I think it's just a 10-second count out. That's it.
There you go.
No title changes hands. Just a
Exactly.
10-second count out.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, I like I said, I want to get into this and more in depth on an actual show, not just at the tail end of it. I want to give it its due respect. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys listening, and I hope we.
Good show tonight. Hopefully, we don't take too long before our next one.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we'll be all right. Everything seems to be on up and up with my system, so we should be good to go. But yeah, we appreciate you. Amount to God, that I appreciate the information that he brought up. That was something that needed to be discussed. So that was real cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
That was real cool. Yeah, marathon continues. Oxman stand up.
TMC.
All that good stuff. And
Boom,
we'll
boom.
catch you next time, okay?
Yay.
Holla.
Get away from the high grease.